go to the live, because we're live right now. You use your phone and you go to YouTube on your phone and turn it all the way down, and then go to the live chat, and then you can correspond with people in the chat, and you won't get the feedback.
Are you supposed to be you're supposed to be doing a show right now? What are you doing?
Yeah, we're already live.
So let me get on here and see who's in here.
That part. I'm sure trying to eat dinner.
All right, got the media all the way down, and we'll go to our live chat. There we go. Okay, so now everyone should be able to see both of us, right?
Everyone should be able to see both of us. So we'll just start by saying, welcome to, for anybody who's, I don't think anyone's back. There's someone's in here, a few people are in here. Welcome back. Welcome in Pamela Olson here from Save Our Children, which is something I think that she can attest to, is sort of birthed out of desperation. You know, it was almost like, waking up and finding out what's going on in the world, and then, seeing, but anyways, Pamela, she has created a thing that, she's been a constant ever since she came into my experience. She's been a constant with this thing. And I know that I don't get to see all behind the camera of what's going on, but I do get to speak to Pamela, not as often as we would like, I think, but we get to talk a lot and we get to share with each other. And we both sort of see things pretty much the same way. And like Keck, Negan, welcome back. Welcome in, Pamela. And Pamela, I'll just let you really introduce yourself, because I think, your work really speaks for itself. I wish we could get out there all the things that you do. And I know that's not what's important to you. I know that saving these children's lives and, creating a future where when children come into this world, they're not automatically turned into victims, because I think it's the system that does that. It turns us into victims, and it wants us to be victims because that's how it can prey upon us. If we're the real power that we truly are, if we know that, I think everything really changes. And I think that's where we're at. And so, no further ado, Pamela Olson, everyone. Thank you, Pamela, for joining us.
Thank you for walking me through how to get both of us on YouTube at the same time. You rock, brother. You rock.
Hey, we're all learning. We're both learning.
I'm telling you, one slow step. I used to say until Dave came into my life, my tech hates me.
Yeah.
My tech doesn't hate me. We're working through a very difficult relationship. So it's starting to love me, and I'm starting to love it back. So
love relationship.
It's all good. It's a love thing. So, yes, I am the founder of Save Our Children. No, my name does not matter. Saving the children does. Meeting warriors to the bone, like Tretch, Victorious Libertas, my warrior brother Dave, warrior to the bone. So many. God, Honeybee, Jamie Deluxe, even Neil Wolf, which is what started me with this whole thing. I was in bed. Neil Wolf is Lighthouse, right? The Lighthouse report. If you guys haven't caught him, he's always a good one to go check into. Big props to Neil. A little frenetic, kind of jumps really fast from topic to topic. I totally stopped on the Our Children Matter, which I'm sorry, Neil, if you see this, it really pissed me off. But he's single, he doesn't have kids, but he has a big heart for kids. And he wanted to do that whole Black Lives Matter, but it was Our Children Matter. Yeah. And I stopped the interview. I think he was on VL. And I stopped it because I was stuck in bed, sicker than a dog. I'd been in bed for about 4 years. And I actually said it out loud, talking to my stupid computer. I don't know how many people do that, but I'm older, so I talk to my TV. I talk to my computer. I talk during interviews, like, why'd you ask that question? And said, well, of course our children matter. You know, we need to save our children. These Luciferian death cult Kabbalists need to be drugged into the sunshine, vaporized like the vampires they are. And it's not just money vampirism, but they're literally taking
energy,
fight or flight chemistry and drawing it out from the back of their necks and using it like it's cocaine. It's called androchrome. I'm still not going to get that right. I'm getting there. And you know, a voice that wasn't mine said, if I ask you to do this for me, will you stand up and do it? Now, folks, I hadn't walked in 4 years on my own. I couldn't even shave my own legs. That was a banner day if I could shave my own legs. Ladies, I know you appreciate. I know you understand. So while my logistic head was trying to figure out how somebody is basically a meat sack laying in bed does something like that, my heart near leapt out of my chest and said, yes, of course. And that voice said, then stand up. And no one was home. And I stood up and the pain was excruciating. Anyone who's gone through labor, imagine labor, but have it being head through toe. And that voice said, this is the pain of the world. And I'm not asking you to carry that. We already had somebody carry that pain. Take another step. So I took another step. The pain was less, but it was still really bad. And he said, this is the pain that all people are suffering right now, whether it's parents who have lost someone through a shooting in Chicago, whether it's someone who's grieving after miscarriage, whether it's somebody's child that's been kidnapped. I'm not asking you to carry that pain. Take another step. And I took another step, and it was much easier. Matter of fact, I was able to walk all the way to the restroom with nothing but amazement on my face with no help. And he said, this is the walk I'm asking you to do. And I have not stopped walking since.
Almost impossible, it feels like, to even stop. It's like, how do you do that?
You just can't. And I thought I was educated. I thought I knew how the world worked. I didn't know crap. 4 years, God gave me a very strangely wrapped blessing. And I found YouTube. And I kept hearing all these conspiracy theories. And then I started researching out, what do you mean there's fluoride in our water that's not good fluoride? It's toxic waste from China. Mark and I, my husband, and I watched a few documentaries. This stuff is toxic. You have to wear full bio gear and mask because the stuff will eat your flesh right off your hands.
Yeah.
Don't drink the water.
But it's good for your teeth.
Yeah, that's probably why mine all fell out, right? And then this crazy, it's contrails. No, contrails disappear. I was born in the 60s, folks. I remember watching LAX. I'm a Southern California girl living in Northern California. And they evaporate. This stuff now, Mark and I look up in the skies with our granddaughters, and you can see it crisscrossing, and it's like spider webs that you pull at Halloween, and it covers our skies. And what's in that? Well, gee, Harvard just announced they're doing a 30-year study over the summer on chemtrails. So now they're outright in your face saying it, and most people are going, chemtrails? What are those? What do you mean the fluoride in our water isn't bad? So how do you then red pill somebody on Luciferian, death cult Kabbalists, where the 1% elite are running DC? How do you get them to swallow that pill and ever have a night's sleep again? And that's what keeps Save Our Children going. Mark and I are dedicated to it, no matter what. A little rough in the beginning. We've been up just over 6 months now. December was our 6th birthday. And we now have Save Our Children's in Missouri. We have a nice little team in Missouri. Lene, Dave, Bobby.
Absolutely.
We have Ohio, which the Letta children came home, all 5 of them on the 26th. We have Florida, and we're going to have her boys home here, Toot Sweet. And then, let's see, we've got Kentucky. We love our Saki, you rock. And it just seems to be spreading. We've got Elisa Yoder that's up in Washington, and she's a warrior. Oh my gosh, this woman, amazing. If you ever want to meet Elisa, go to Victorious Libertas and see the OCM tribute, Our Children Matter, that we were trying to do nationwide. And, there were over 30 states, and not one MSM picked it up. And Neil Wolf, God bless him, stood there by himself trying to educate people with pamphlets at the state capitol that day. And Angie put together a real beautiful overview of what everyone did. Honeybee added herself to an LGBT pride parade. And do you know those men and women handed out those pamphlets? They were so disgusted what was happening to the children. Absolutely disgusted. Yeah. So good people want good solutions, and our kids aren't stamped with an R and a D, so I'm not either. We need to have good common folk come together. We're more united and we're more common sense solution united than we know. They want to keep us divided, and we're just not going to let that happen. There's just too many good folk out there with good ideas that their voices need to be heard. We've had 10 years of women, and women, please, if you beat me softly. I've had a hard life. We've had 10 years of vagina costumes and tampon earrings and the women going nuts. Okay, we've heard you. Now let's take that and really make it clarified and clear on what we want. And let's bring the man voice back in so that we are that perfect balance of male, female, so that when the 90% of this nation stands up to take down those that they think they played a game on us and they think they're going to win and run these rats off our ship, we're going to refound our nation. I'm probably looking at the new Thomas Jefferson in the screen right in front of me. That's our new Thomas Jefferson.
Not me. I just want to be the guy. I'll tend to his far. Hey, I just want to be Thomas Jefferson. What is the new Thomas Jefferson? As long as friggin' people are walking in love, like I'll vote for you. Like whatever you are, whoever you are, if you're walking in love, I can tell. People can tell. You tell people that are walking with walking in their with intentions that are pure. With integrity. It's very challenging, Pamela. I think you can attest to this. It's very challenging. And welcome to the Sophie Daly. I talked to her on the phone the other night, and she's a beautiful, beautiful lady who is Sophie. You should really meet Pamela. I think you two have a lot to talk about. Sophie, I won't share too much, but Sophie's had an interesting life as well, and I think you two would really benefit connecting and talking because you both. So Sophie's awesome. She's talking to her the other night, Pamela. She's just along the lines. She's telling you in the chat, like, come on up to Canada, like the kids need you up there, And so I think there's Pamela's all over the world, and they're male, female, like we're all Pamelas in a way. We're all Daves, we're all Sophies, we're all, as long as people are walking in love and they're just wanting, the golden rule is really all we don't need all these rules and laws and shit. Like religion is like a bunch of rules. Laws are made by these friggin' people all to keep us in line. And all we really need to do is just the golden rule. I mean, treat others as you want to be treated. And unfortunately, people don't know that rule. It's like there is no rules. It's like balls to the wall, cuckoo.
Well, and just common sense. I guarantee you and I walk into a room, no R, no D behind our name, and we just start talking common sense solutions.
Yeah.
I bet there are more people that sit in their living room that have solved the entire world's problems in an evening over a bottle of wine, okay, after listening to the news or whatever. I know there are more of us than I could possibly count. I know we're not the enigma. I know we're the norm. I know we are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
getting past that, don't let them divide you, which your first live chat was over Super Bowl, which most people may not know that Super Bowl is the highest day for child sex trafficking. Now, I'm not talking hotsy-totsy, runaway 16, 18-year-old teenagers who have been suckered in by a boyfriend who isn't a boyfriend, ends up being an abusive pimp. If you want to watch a good documentary on that, I Am Jane Doe. It will really open your eyes as to how toothless our government is in stopping this. I Am Jane Doe. Great documentary on those young ladies, 14 to 17, and sometimes even older, that are sold like chattel. Unfortunately, Super Bowl doesn't even go for the at least pubescent. They like them, the younger the better. We're talking 6 months, guys, to 8 years old. This is the target age group for people who are supposedly celebrating the art of war with a football while grabbing each other's asses. Okay, it couldn't be more homoerotic if you tried. Okay,
it's an ego fest, man. It's just absolutely
ego fest. And to know that children are being shipped from all over the world and throughout the United States through our bus stations, our train stations, our airports, so that people who are hanging out with the A-list group you know, NFL at this point. And there's more of them. We're not talking one or two people here, folks. We're talking large groups of people and people that they know and people that they know. This is an entire society that are now feeding on these kids for either the high they're going to get from scaring these kids to death and basically turning them into one great big drug that they can all get high on. Or they're turning them into a sexual plaything and they kill the child at the end of the evening, or they stuff it back into a cage.
Yeah, and all of the above is what they do. I just want to play a real quick clip. This is Pamela, and she was interviewing Lauren, which is the father of the little girl in the picture. That his child was taken. Correct me if I'm wrong, Pamela, but this was the child's mother and him, and she just took like total rights. There was no type of
I think what you're trying to say is this was a divorce.
Yeah.
Okay, the woman was pregnant and decided that she didn't want Lauren to be the father of that child, even though he biologically is the father of that child. They lived together up until that beautiful girl right there is 3. Loved her daddy. He fought tooth and toenail just to keep visits. Mama found herself a new sugar daddy, and literally, because this guy played golf with the judge, they terminated this man's rights to his child, not because he did anything wrong, but because the mother wanted him gone.
Yeah.
That should be on a t-shirt. No man should be erased because a woman simply wants him gone. That's just wrong.
Very disturbing. It's very disturbing, and the fact that, you know, when you speak about just playing golf with the judge, you know, that's how a lot of this justice system and a lot of these systems, they work. Is it's not necessarily in the courtroom where this shit's decided. This is decided on golf courses and tennis courts and friggin' poker tables, and you know, this stuff's going on behind their back, and they're using it and they're making money off of it. Large sums of money, meaning a lot more money than it's a lot of money. We'll just say that, and it's a lot of children. More importantly, it's a lot of children that are being removed from very good households, being removed from parents that care about them. I mean, you could see in the pictures the guy loves his children, and when his daughter, and when you hear him speak, you know, he's been doing this for I think 12 years.
Almost 13. Yeah, and I'm going to get to interview him again towards the end of February, and it'll be the full story. This was at a workshop that Mark and I hosted for SOC for family courts, which is an admiralty court. If you don't know what admiralty court is or color of law, this is how the states are getting federal welfare dollars, turning your children and your misery into money that your states can spend any way they wish, which is why, other than your emergency FEMA, DHHS is the highest budgetary item that gets the largest chunk of change, because in last year, just in 2017, they brought in $200 billion off of CPS alone. CPS alone, and the industry that it is.
200 billion
with a B.
With a B.
$200 billion.
Now that's a whole lot of change that could be made with $200 billion, and then really it doesn't even have nothing to do with money, because what it's about is it's about us. Us meaning I, meaning Pamela, meaning you, whoever you are, if you're listening to this. It's about change, and the place that the change has to be made is inside of yourself. It's the only way that it can happen, is you have to go in. And when you go in, you realize the truth of what you are. And when you realize the truth of what you are, you know the truth of what everyone else is. And there's no difference. And so I think when we know that we are as of one, just different, let's say different rays of the sun, you know, it doesn't look like we're connected, but you can feel it if you get past all the data and all the stuff that they crumb into our brains. And so, you know, it's a matter of just opening up to the truth of who we are. And so you got to get through the mind to do that. And sometimes you got to go crazy, like I feel like I am sometimes.
Yeah, I think we all kind of get there. If you ever watched the MSM, best thing I did was to get MSM out of my home. There's plenty of great blogs. You can always go directly to whatever news station, you can somewhat get piece parcels out of. Me personally, I like to look at the actual facts and what the person said instead of it having to go through any filter. The interview that Dave has up in front of you is actually on Save Our Children channel. Feel free to watch it. Lauren is an amazing man. His capacity for love is just, you can just feel it coming off of him. And even though he's been drugged through probably one of the worst, if anyone's watched Shawshank and he goes through a football field pipe of nothing but sewage, that's what this man has gone through. And yet he showed up at this workshop and not only was happy to give me 20 some odd minutes of his time, but went there so fast in emotion and passion and honesty and truth, just so people could get a taste of this is what a human being goes through, male or female, when they're drugged through a system that is set up that makes you guilty and you have to prove innocence, or that you're a perfect parent for you to even parent your child of an entity that is disgusting.
Let's listen to the, we're going to listen to the end of this interview. That Pamela, thank you so much for doing this and taking your time out to do this. And thank you for sure to Lauren for doing the same thing. We'll just listen to what he has to say himself. And if I'm catching you on any funny screen shaves here, I apologize, but we'll just start it and see what happens.
Okay.
Together. So even if you yourself aren't affected by this, make sure you know your rights. Make sure you know your neighbors. Men, stand up. Stand up and start supporting one another. Don't
Sorry about the volume.
And run away. Now
not every other weekend.
No, it's time to stand up and be there every. Too many.
I think last words.
Right.
Here it is.
That change is happening now. Now is our last window of opportunity. Or you're not going to have a choice anymore. The choices are just gone. And if you're not paying attention, you're part of the problem. Stand for something. Stand for nothing.
So hopefully you can see the passion that the guy speaks with. I mean, the guy's he's living a nightmare, and for him to, I guess he's sort of a big name in this, and and he gives a lot of his time to try to inform people about what's really going on. And I just would say right now, if you just look up CPS corruption on YouTube, it will show you very simply. Watch one or two videos. Watch the guy from California. What's his name? He's amazing. He was a CPS investigator, and he quit.
Morales. Yeah.
It's after a year because of because of what he describes, and I'll let you hear it from him. But I can tell you, it's along the same lines as what we're talking about. And even to a much disturbing degree, because he experienced it. So he experienced it from the other side, so he was that, and he's looking at humanity, going, "Wow, this is not right." And so, there's not to say that there's not CPS people out there that is, let's say, moral people, or
there are definitely good-hearted people that go into CPS believing that CPS's mission statement of saving abused children, and they are absolutely in it for the right reasons, are gone in under 3 years. Gone. There are good foster parents who want to open their home to children they actually think are abandoned, have drug addlepated, abusive. We all understand what the word abuse means. I don't have to describe it, for heaven's sakes. And would it shock anybody out there to know that 7 to 10% of the children CPS takes out of homes are abused? 7 to 10%, which leaves 83 to 87% of children come from good, loving homes. I have heard everything from you missed your baby's vaccine to you want a second opinion on a procedure we want to do on your infant to you have 2 garbage bags right there near your front door. That's hoarding. You're a pig. You can't possibly have children here. To you have 2 dogs and a cat. That's too many pets. You love animals more than you love your children. All of these are cases SOC has had or is currently working. It's insane. Insane what they will take your children over. And it's about money, folks. Don't kid yourself. And CPS is nationwide. They speak in one voice. What they pull here in Sacramento, they're pulling right there in Missouri. They're pulling all the way to Nantucket. They're pulling in Florida, Michigan, you name it. It's a gambit. It's a Ponzi scheme. Bernie Madoff is blushing in his cell going, God, I could have gotten trillions, you know?
Or he's laughing away somewhere and just got someone that looks like Bernie up in that cell because, Bernie was I won't go into Bernie too much because it's all a big joke. But, like what Pamela is saying is my experience. I haven't experienced nowhere near what Pamela's experienced. And I you can attest to one of the cases, Pamela, that I won't necessarily speak on it, but it's, one of our mutual friends, and this case that she's dealing with is literally it's very important that people know about this. I'll tell you later, Pamela, what we did. Like me and her talked today. It was amazing. It was amazing. I got her doing a couple little things, and she's getting on PixArt, and she's starting to. She sends me these 3 papers. It clearly identifies that there's some problems going on with billing of certain state entities or private corporations that are billing the government for things, and it's a clear-cut case of that. She sends it to me and says, "Well, what do you think from layman's terms?" And I said, and we walked through it, and she explained it to me. I said, okay. And so I sent her a picture real quick. I got on PixArt, which is an app that I use, which I encourage everybody to get on there because you get to start to play with creativity. If you watch the commercials, you can tell it's still ran by the same creeps, but you get to play with your creativity and you can turn anything into anything. And right now is the greatest time to capitalize on creating whatever you want in your life, because the energy that's hitting the place that we live right now and filling us up and cleaning us out is very, very powerful. And you're creators. And so I would encourage everyone to do just whatever your dreams was as a little kid. You might want to start looking at them again, because that might actually be your purpose here on life, in this world. I lost a little track, but I'll lose track if I talk about stuff like that.
But you're letting people know, if what you can do is sharing videos, that's doing something. If you can talk to your coworkers about what you heard or what you researched, that's doing something. If you can hold a picnic in the park, just go down to whatever nice park you've got and educate moms and dads about what's going on, you will have done something. Every drop by itself may not seem like much, but you put a bucket out in the rain and you're going to have yourself a bucket full of water. Save our children's exact same. No one person is more important than the other. We're all important. Each voice is important. I want to start hearing those male voices, because you're doers. Women will sit and think about it, and we'll live the emotion. Once a solution is found, it's the guys that stand up and go, okay, this is what we're going to do, and we all follow. It's just so necessary right now. So, if something doesn't quite sound right, I urge you, look it up. Do what I did. I did 4 years of red pilling, and my brain did that pop purple thing. That one advertisement for, we'll save you money on your everyday, and the people's heads would pop purple with the new invention. Well, my head kept popping purple that I think I'm missing the back of my head. Anyway, back to Super Bowl, CPS, and all of that. Here in Planet Moonbeam, I live in California, y'all. And boy, I got to tell you what, when you have got a governor in 2016 with a smile on his face, do find this clip, folks. He looks right into the camera, takes no questions afterwards, because I'm pretty sure Jerry's brain is more like that Hulu mush milk that the aliens are going to come and eat his brains out with a straw. He looks in the camera and says, California is progressive. We are revolutionizing the criminal justice system. Now listen to this. If we find your minor child has been trafficked or is a sex worker, remember, he said minor or child, as a sex worker, California will no longer lock them up. Hear that? Lock them up. Instead, we're just going to give them to CPS. Now, if you're a mother and father and your 2-year-old has been yanked out of your home and kidnapped and sex trafficked for 2 years, and you finally get to have them back, you get to have a second and third nightmare in your life called the state of California government and CPS, because CPS is going to hang on to that kid for at least 2 years while they run you through hoop after fiery hoop, walk in a lake of fire to where you lose almost everything, including your mind, your marriage, your home. You've got any hopes and dreams, they'll take those too, just so the state of California can make a little bit more money. You know, if the bad guys can make money off of your kids, I suppose Jerry Brown thought it's a good idea to do the same thing. And now, folks, they're not just going after your kids, now they're going after grandma and grandpa. Oh, you work all day and you're leaving your 80-something-year-old mother at home and you've got a gun in the house? You're the worst person ever. We're going to take your mother and put her in a home.
And your gun. Or take your mother and your gun.
Yeah. It's real, folks. There's story after story. These are not 1 in a million. These aren't even the worst cases I have. This is the norm. And the norm is frightening enough that you start getting into the really scary, hairy ones. Like that one where you and I got pulled in. Dave did something so great, guys. You have to hear this. 2 months ago, Dave, because he's got such a great presence and such a great voice, I got a call. It was Belgium, right, Dave?
It was Belgium. It was Belgium.
Belgium. We had a call to save our children. Someone reached out to me. I reached out to Dave, and through Dave, Jonelle Elgaway, who owns CAW, Conspiracy Against Wellness, fantastic gal. We're going to be starting CAW 360, and Dave's going to have his own show on there. I think it's going to be awesome. Save Our Children will be on there. Awesome. And we literally helped bring this woman, Melanie, who was being held in a psych ward. Okay. They didn't have to worry about a father because she had been in vitro. She was IVT treatment. Now, this is Belgium, so it's international law. And I don't know any of that, but I do know all Western European laws are based on the Magna Carta. You grab that Magna Carta and you look at it, it's common sense. Please don't read it in Latin. It'll make no sense. It's all Greek to me. Oh, come on. It was a light joke. It was worth a giggle. And he not only got her out of that hospital, but the last update I got not quite 30 days ago is that baby should be back home and in her arms full time. Now, that's just us walking through what we know is possible and what should be a good solution. Dave was part of helping someone he's never met and a child he will never meet, probably, unless we go to Belgium, which, no thank you. I don't want to go to I don't want to go to Europe right now.
Belgium.
And he did it, folks, with light and with love and without even thinking twice about what he was doing. And we dove into it, and we got to meet a guy that these folks deal with CERN. We met a scientist that was an ex-scientist of CERN who told us some yes, Dr. Kathleen H.
Yeah.
Her last name.
Yeah, she was a scientist at CERN.
Yeah, at CERN, and confirmed a lot of things for Dave and I. And, you know, all of these things mesh together. It's not just CPS. It's not just vaccines. It's not just chemtrails. It's not just GMOs. It's not just the water. Guys, this is the domino effect. It's the whole gambit. All of you are right.
It really lines up to American genocide, like world genocide. Like it seemed, because they feed these people and these beings, these things. They feed off of fear. That's why they pump it down your throat. Is because as you fear, you feed them. Feed them. They're like energy vampires that can suck your energy right from you. You notice if you get on, and I don't want to go too far off of it, but if you get on some topic or you get on talking to somebody live or and you see that one comment can throw the person that's talking all the way off and the whole room all the way off. Well, that one person that comes in there, usually a lot of times when they're really good, they're paid. And so they're really good at like psychological warfare, but they come into rooms and they can totally just blow a room all the way up and get everybody like HATE and ING and hating. I don't usually say the word, so I added the E in there. I don't think there's an E in there in hating, is there? It's no E, H-I. I don't even know how to spell it. I don't use it much. So, you know, but this one person can literally get 20 or 30 people, like thinking they're all liars, and they're very good at what they do. And I don't know how I got on that, Pamela. Why did I start talking about it?
Because we were going to wrap around into tradition. I love the word tradition. You've got people that say, oh, tradition is old and it's stayed and it's not fun. And yet every Thanksgiving, I bet every viewer that sees this, they sit down and they have a tradition. And whether they like it or don't like it, the people that show up or don't show up, by God, every year, Thanksgiving happens, whether it's with a lasagna or a turkey. Okay. Thanksgiving happens because it's something that family's been doing since Plymouth Rock. Okay. Super Bowl was not a big deal until World War II, and it became a tradition. This tradition, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, became a family tradition. So if you grew up watching the Super Bowl, then there were certain traditions and teams you rooted for and teams you didn't root for.
I'm sorry, I had to start playing family tradition. I'm going to stop it. Let me stop family tradition. I just had to start playing that. I got an urge to start playing family tradition, so I played it. All right, that's it.
That's a good song. So it's not until somebody, it was because of what you had said about your mom earlier, the halftime. A lot of people love the commercials. I know I used to love the Budweiser one. So cute with the horses, the dogs, you know, very touching. Gives you almost a feeling of old Americana. Everyone kind of votes at the end of the night what was the best advertisement. And of course, the halftime show. Now, whether that's Janet Jackson getting her costume ripped off to show a pasty, or whether it's some Luciferian weird triangle lights everywhere with people. What was that? Rihanna or whatever a couple years back.
Lady Gaga was up on.
Oh, yeah, the woman likes to hang herself covered in blood. Yeah, you know, that's real Americana. Nothing screams American like someone hanging themselves with blood everywhere. And literally, people have not quite caught that they caught you in the web of something that was good and wholesome that you hold dear, which is tradition, even if you only do it once a year or twice a year or whatever, like Super Bowl's a once a year thing. Okay. But that's where they got you. And you know how the Luciferian death cult Kabbalah star, they love to take everything that's good, God's rainbow, and pervert it into something it's not supposed to mean. They'll take every beautiful color of person, my beautiful yellow, brown, red, white. Hey, we might even have some blue people out there. I don't know. You know, with all the different things they're doing with cloning and CERN, God only knows. Literally, God only knows. We all bleed the same red blood. So we're one big, beautiful family. And what have they done? They divided us into groups. I can't just say that I'm Pamela Olson. No, I've got to have qualifiers. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I've got 3 daughters. I've got a bunch of letters behind my name from nursing and therapy and, you know, all teaching and all that kind of crap. You can't just say, this is me. Hi, I'm Pamela. Nice to meet you. Shouldn't matter what color I am. It shouldn't matter what color my eyes are, my hair, where I live. We are one big, beautiful family. And we're not just a nation. We're nations of people that are literally brothers and sisters to one another. We are the world community. It's these governments that tell us, no. You're African American, or you're actually from Africa, which must really get underneath their skin when gorgeous Charlize Theron shows up, who actually is South African. I'm sure that's very confusing for them. We're one folk, people. The only thing that divides us at this point are those that are our current oppressors. This is not how things were meant to be. It's certainly not how our Constitution is set up. It's certainly not what our forefathers spilt their blood for, sent men to die for.
Do you see this?
Yeah, I do.
So there are blue people.
Oh, hey, I was being politically correct. There literally are blue people.
There are friggin' blue people, and that's not to take away nothing you just said, because it's all so very important. But there are blue people. Like, that was Papa Smurf. You know, he died. You know, that guy was actually friggin' blue. Is that not amazing?
Isn't that there's an entire genetic line in the Appalachians, right?
Well, I know there's more than just him. He's not the only blue person. I don't see really. I think that's that. I think they're painted. She might be a little blue, but
Yeah, there's a family line that's in the, I think they call them, it's not the Hollows, Holler, and there's a couple of families that literally, there's usually at least one, and they're blue. It's a cardiac and blood condition, and they've got, and look how beautiful he is.
yeah, it's Papa.
I love it. I love it. We ought to reach out to him and say, hey, I was talking about you the other day.
Passed away. He just, or I don't know if he just passed away, but it says that he passed away. But he looks like a friendly fellow, man. I'd love to see him. I'm gonna see if he has any talks or any videos on YouTube.
Looks like an awesome guy. But
Yeah,
this is who most of us are: good-hearted, empathetic. When given a choice to do right or wrong, I have every confidence and faith in my heart that the majority of us will do right.
Yes.
Okay.
It's our natural
part of a day you have. When you see a child in danger, by God, you're going to see a man or a woman, old, young, doesn't matter, going to get that child out of danger. You know, people still hold doors open for their elders. You see a little old woman who can't get the grocery store door open. I have seen young men as young as, 9 and 12 opening the doors. We're still us. We just can't believe in the big BS lie that we all fit in these little boxes. Bullshit. Break out of your box. I'm going to hand out crowbars as like little keychain things, I think, with SOC stamped on it. Break out of your box. Reach across to someone you wouldn't normally. Start talking to one another. If we don't come together and unite, they've got us by the short and curlies. Now, DJT is doing his job. He's a Kennedy Democrat, Reagan Republican. Half of the state half of the nation supposedly hates him. Well, they hate what they've been fed about him. At least he's genuine and he's real. He's definitely our most unique president.
He's definitely he is. He's doing a lot of great things. He's doing so many amazing things. And then with that, I will say that there's a couple things I don't agree with, but I don't know all the things that are behind it, so I have to just knowing that the source of me is all I have to really trust. And it's telling me that we're headed in the right direction. All we have to really do is let go, like surrender, that the old way is moving out. And the quicker we surrender to that, we can surrender into a brand new way of living that has nothing to do with Bitcoin. It don't have nothing to do with money. It has to do with human beings evolving into what they truly are, and that's spiritual beings. And in order to do that, we have to go inside. I'll keep saying that. It's so very important that we go inside of ourselves and we look inside, because that's where our answers are. Now, they'll tell you, the pressures of a job, the pressures of the society. Why are they doing this to our children, and how is it happening? Well, I'll tell you. First, they got the mother working all day, and then if the mother and the father are together, it's if the mother and the father ain't working all day, then the father's either got a cush job that can carry the family through, or when you reach which is the slowly, I guess, maybe reappearing middle class, but I don't see that. I still see a very hard, even though numbers look like they look, I think a lot of them are all manipulated in ways, but I have to go with my heart, and what my heart tells me is we're moving in the right direction, and all we have to do is look inside. And once if you take two gangbangers, a blood and a Crip, once that Crip knows that that blood is him, then they don't even mean Bloods and Crips no more. It removes all of these labels that we call her and divide each other, Bloods and Crips. I've used to fight guys that were Cubs fans and friggin' sports, and just all this stuff makes me just want to play the friggin' piano.
Right. Oh, and Mark pulled up for me. January 15th, 1967 was the first Super Bowl.
Mark's amazing. Thank you, Mark, for that friggin'
Mark is amazing. He's going to be starting the Olsen Foundation, which will be
Green Bay against the Chiefs.
Be a nice. Oh, it was Green Bay versus Chiefs.
Yeah. Good. The Green Bay won that.
And Green Bay won. Yep, that's what he just said. Yep. So
what was the score of that? I'm curious. What was the score of that game, Mark?
He can't hear you. What? What do you want to know?
What was that score of that game?
What was the score of that game?
35.
35. He's got to look. He's got to go back.
Because numbers are so much of their game they play. You know, it's funny to see it sort of work out. You know, like me and you were talking today, that Super Bowl ended 33. The Patriots.
About 10.
Oh, it was 10-35. 10-35. Now they were playing football, but we didn't actually have a Super Bowl, NFL, you know, the way you and I would understand it now until 1967. I was born in 66, so as long as I've been around, NFL's been around, Super Bowl. It would make people sick to know that these very wealthy people that own these NFL teams, you guys are paying them. Your hard 9 to 5. A lot of guys work 12 and 14 and 16 hours, or moms work 2 jobs, or dads work 2 jobs, just to go paycheck to paycheck to make sure their kids are fed, lights stay on. No one's taking expensive vacations. You know, come on. No one can afford it. No one's going out and buying a new car. They can't afford it.
They are, though. They are, because I'll tell you, and I want to share, because I'm in the case in Missouri that we're working with, which you know very well. My friend's case, in his case, the family that has his children take big vacations and buy brand new vehicles. So
and why is that, Dave?
About the vacations they take, like they take 2 or 3 big vacations, and they're vacationing. This family is vacationing with the daughter of the friggin' what is it? Some guy in the case. It's in the court system. Or am I mixing 2 cases together right now?
No. There's the guy that is a lawyer, but not on this particular case. So yeah,
he was on this case in the very beginning. I thought he was on this case, and
then he pulled back. But he is part of. See, this is where there's so much mixture. It's an industry that's built up around itself. And if you're in a small town, the guy who was prosecuting you last week could be the guy that's defending you as county counsel the following week. You know, it's crazy. It's nuts. But these NFL multimillionaires, they get federal welfare dollars, basically. It is insane the amount of money that they get. Insane. While you are killing yourself every day just to do right by your children and wondering how is it you can't set your children up better than you had it growing up. You know, it's become to a point where the government, socially engineered folks, they bought this plan, by the way, from the military. And when I say they, I mean the social engineering part of the government that runs DHHS, CPS, foster care. It would blow your mind to know what foster care parents, it cracks me up when I hear these CPS workers, well, you don't make very much. Well, no, you want low overhead. You're not going to pay your workers a whole lot. But the people who supervise and manage, 6-figure incomes, you know, they get paid all kinds of great things. And everyone gets bonus checks. Can you imagine? Take as many kids as last year or over, and you get a $5,000 to $15,000 bonus check for Christmas. They're going to have as many kids as they can.
Yeah. Celebrating.
Working and your kids at school being indoctrinated, right? God forbid your child is home an hour by themselves and CPS comes and picks up your kid because now you're a negligent parent. It takes 2 parents to hold down 1 household, and that's just doing the bare minimum. And I know folks out there are nodding their heads. I know they know what I'm talking about. Men are so bone tired when they get home. Women are so bone tired when they get home. It's all you can do to get dinner together. Watch maybe an hour of something, crawl into your bed so that you can get up to that alarm the next day and do it all over again. And then when weekends come, it used to be, hey, let's go play in the park. Let's do this. Let's do that. People are exhausted. That's the vaccines, folks. That's the chemtrails. That's the GMO food you're eating. That's the crap in your water. That's them harping on you 24/7 and squeezing this economy so damn hard that you feel like you're a zit or a boil on the butt of this nation getting ready to burst open. We've had it done. It's enough. And with the December 21st White House EO coming out saying this isn't just about human trafficking. DJT knows to go after CPS and DHS. They know that is the biggest Ponzi scheme. We'll give Bernie Madoff a far second. I'm sure there's people out there that have made more money than Bernie, but Bernie got caught, so he's on the line.
He's on the line. He's on the line. And now who's on the line is any CPS workers or DHS workers or any workers.
Luciferian, death cult, Kabbalist, 1% elite. You're going to Gitmo, baby. You don't even get a civil or criminal trial. You're getting a military tribunal for treason and sedition. I can't wait for General Flynn to let it fly. Can't wait.
I was excited when General Flynn, he followed me on Twitter, man. I thought I was hot shit on that day.
Hey, that he follows any warrior that fights for the children, that man will follow you. He needs our support.
Yeah, yeah. And so with that said, that's a perfect interlude into what I wanted to talk about, because it's about support.
Yep.
It's not only about it's about supporting each other through this. Because this transition is going to be, it's very challenging. We haven't hit the rough stages of it. I think we're in some crazy stages, but I think the rough stages are going to come when I don't want to do that. I don't want to say that.
What?
Here's what I think. I think in order for us to truly be free, the economy has to collapse. We can't be under no dollar. We can't be under no bankers. So either remove all the bankers and make this thing what it was, back it by gold, do what you used to do with it. But I don't want to do that, because the old's going out. So I want to let it to go, allow it to go out. But what I say is, instead of looking for like things like Bitcoin and other things that are like, this stuff is all out there, but why cannot humanity, like human beings, come together for the greater good of humanity? Like, if we want to continue on living here where we live, we must change our ways. And if we don't change our ways, we will be kicked off of this thing, whatever this thing is, or out of this thing, wherever this thing is. And so it's about changing our ways. And how are we going to do that? Well, we have to acknowledge the ways that we're in right now. I mean, as a whole, right now, we're into a stage where it's fucking, excuse my language, cool to molest children. And like, you get pay raises and you get put in these high positions. And so now we got this friggin' big old thing that's built, and it's all so compartmentalized that one don't know what they're doing. And so people are out here all day because they're not aware. People are out here doing humanity a disservice. And with that said, one more thing that I would like to say about Bitcoin, and it's this. I fell out with some people over Bitcoin because they see things a different way. But I'll say this. Bitcoin is creating a whole bunch of millionaires, brand new millionaires, and it's Bitcoin. Bitcoin's being used by a system to create a whole bunch of millionaires to protect its interest. Because if they create these millionaires, and I'm talking about new millionaires that just invested at the right time, they were brought in by the right person. Bitcoin made a lot of money for a lot of people, and I will say to you that it's not our answer. Our answer, it doesn't have anything to do with monetary money. It has to do with you finding out who you are. And when you know who you are, then you'll know what life means in order to continue to have life, as not as we know it, because it's changing. It's constantly changing. But to have life be able to be something that's coming here to, right now, this is hell on earth to a lot of people. To anybody waking up, this is hell on earth where we live. And it's also heaven on earth, and we get to choose which one throughout the day. And there's some tough shit that puts me in hell, and then there's other experiences like a sunrise or a sunset that puts me in heaven. And I get to experience both of them. So I know it's experienceable right here because I've been in hell. And no, if my feet were to the flames, it felt like my heart was to the flame, like they put my heart over the flame just to cook it, and then I started to experience empathy. And empathy, I started to experience empathy again, because empathy isn't a feeling. It's the ability to feel the feeling that another's feeling. So yeah, it is a feeling, but it's all of the feelings. You can feel sadness, you can feel happiness because another's feeling it. And so I don't know why I said that, but I'm going to eat some Cheez-Its and then I'm just going to calm down.
You're all good. That was perfect. And you're absolutely right. And DHT has told us on 2 different occasions, we have technological advances that are 50 years beyond where we currently are. We don't need petro oil, which is why he is closing down the petrodollar. Okay. And he knows it drives the eco-libs nuts. Yes, we've got man-made climate change because the death cult, cabal, New World Order elite want most of us gone, about 80% of us. Georgia Guidestones, hello. These people actually have turned it into a religion. And speaking of religion, I'm not a religious woman, but I'm a strong Christian philosophy woman. And within that Christian philosophy, I've heard an awful lot of pastors and preachers, good men and women, stating we're in the end times. They're not wrong. They're just wrong in what they mean in the end times. This is the end time for this particular system to fall. This beast system is falling and crumbling before our eyes. No time in history prior to World War II have we ever had this particular political setup with the perfect social engineering ending its 45-year time experience of expiration because the people don't support it, because they see how badly everyone is suffering, not just themselves, but everyone else. The commiseration and misery rate is very high, and literally everything has just come together perfectly. So to the religious people out there, I say, you're not wrong. You're just wrong in thinking that this is the time that a maker or a savior is going to come back to this earth. No, no, no. This is going to be an illumination. This is time. What is it? Nothing will be hidden that God won't reveal. Man plans, God laughs. So much is going to be revealed, including bringing up technology that we haven't had ability to. People who have been suffering with cancer. Cancer was cured eons ago. People who are blind will be able to see. People who have never heard will be able to hear. We'll have strong, healthy children. We'll have real food. Our environment will automatically clean. Who knew? Because they're not constantly trying to destroy it.
So, Pamela, real quick, you said something. Cancer. You ever heard of Fife? Dr. Fife, he was like in the 30s. You know, he discovered that the first, like one of the cure for, he discovered, I guess, I don't know if it's the first or what it is, but Fife in the 30s discovered if you shake the cancer cells, you can shake them to death. So it's a frequency, it's a vibration that actually shakes these cancer cells to death. Check it out. It's
I'll totally check it out. That sounds awesome.
His last name's Fife, and I think it was the 30s or 40s. He came up with a cure for cancer, and it was vibrational. It was a frequency thing. It's pretty interesting stuff. He was a well-known guy that was really after he came out and he did this, they took his work from him and made his life living hell. So he's a great story. He's another true. That's
else. Yep. I think I heard something. I still have so much to learn. I don't worry about what I know. I freak out about what I don't know. There's so much I don't know. It's going to take me lifetimes to need to know all the things I know, which is when I went, I can't do this by myself. It can't just be one person. It can't just be one group. We got to link up like chains. And beautifully, unlike what Nancy Pelosi calls astroturf, people are grouping up. They're fighting each other. They're talking to one another, and they're grouping up to fight any one injustice or what they see as an abuse or injustice in their own little town, in a school, in a state, in our nation. I think Save Our Children, I think we have over 200 varying groups that work with us and that SOC supports. I didn't know that Mark and I had done something odd, that I didn't kiss all the rings of all the smaller advocate groups on the way up. We just said, screw it, we need to save our children. And we just threw an event. And I had no idea that that would break chains of some kind of weird artsy-fartsy clique, post-high school apocalyptic weirdness with these advocate groups, the Occupy style. It had its day. It did its job and what it could do. That time is now over. This is our time, folks. This is our time to be who we are, each one upheld for what they can do, even if it's sharing or if it's just thinking about it and researching and edifying yourself, that's still doing something. We're getting out of the lackadaisical. They've beaten us down. We can't be down any further than where they've taken us. We really can't without becoming China. And that's not going to float. They know it because we still have our Second Amendment rights. Thank God. You know, yes, I'm 2A strong. Love it. And they know they won't win. Military will turn
Where's
on.
China?
What?
Where's China?
Where's China? Right next to Russia.
We don't even want to get in there. I don't know who in here. I like to say, look at this. I would like to say this. Whether you know if you live on a globe or whether the surface of the place you live is flat or whether the globe is so much bigger than they say the globe is, I would encourage all to look into this theory of flat Earth. because when you start looking at it, and the reason I say this and even bring it up, like this is, to me, the children are the most important. I hope everyone knows that. I know, Pamela, you know that it's always the children for me. I bring up flat earth for a reason. And I bring up flat earth for this. Because how do you truly know? Unless you've been indoctrinated, like we've all been indoctrinated into this globe way of thinking. And not that like I'm 98% sure that it's a flat surface. I'm 1% sure that it's much bigger than they're saying it is. And I'm 1%. I allow for the people that think it's a globe, that the globe that they're telling us it is, to have their beliefs and have their thoughts with it. But I just encourage you to look, because if you look at two simple things, and one of them is this: what better way to keep people, what I'll call a small amount of people, and I'm saying I guess 6 billion is what they say is here. So a small amount of people.
How many people?
Compared to the large number of possibilities, a small amount of people in a small area. Well, you tell them that you need a rocket ship to get off the friggin' place, okay? But then if you think about it, this reality that they set up for us, if we as a society knew that outside there was a limit, that we didn't need a rocket ship to fly out this place, that we could just keep on walking, that scares the shit out of them, I think. And I'm just looking at it.
The SpaceX that just took off from Los Angeles. Has everyone seen that creepy thing? I freaked out when I saw it.
I didn't.
It just took up out of nowhere. It just took up. You know who built it? Elon Musk.
Yeah.
What have we finally figured out? Q tells us those were all, there were 12, not satellites, but 12 devices. They cover all the way around Korea, because little Kimmy, with his little pigtails and his big fat cheeks while his people are starving, did push the red button, folks. Did push the red button. That was the day Hawaii said that missiles were coming. Well, North Korea, if you looked at Google, I think you can even go back into the history, look at Google World, and you'll see that North Korea went completely dark, while South Korea still had its lights on. Elon Musk, who was a DJT hater, obviously something jiggled his heart and his mind and got it together and went, you know what? This is about saving the majority, not about this sick people that want to kill us.
Don't Musk do Tesla? Don't he have rights to Tesla?
Yeah, he does.
So then, so Tesla and Trump are linked in somehow. I wonder why. I wonder why Musk would be a hater of Donald Trump if it's such a strong connection. That's why I think it's all just a friggin' game they're playing, like bombs and all this shit. Like,
it's bad kabuki theater, right? But if anyone saw that SpaceX rocket ship that took out of LA, what was it, 2 weeks ago, going on 3? That is the weirdest looking thing ever. You tell me that's not futuristic crap.
Look,
that's a regular rocket that goes straight up. They like came in and arced, and it was the strangest thing I'd ever seen.
Put your mouse up to the left side. Put your mouse on over to the left side, and then a little board should show up.
Yeah.
Okay. Go up to the green screen.
Yeah.
And then press that.
Oh.
And now you're sharing your screen. So whatever you go to, if you go to that to the spaceship you're talking about, we'll see it with you.
Okay. So let's see. Can I pull it up right here in the little itty bitty box that I can barely see?
I don't think you're sharing your screen right now, though.
Oh, sorry. Let me hit share. There we go. Is that better?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So how do I get to? Let me see.
There you go. Just go to wherever on your computer you would look that up at.
Oh, okay. Why isn't it not doing it? Hang with me, guys. I will get there.
Doing great.
I will get there.
Doing amazing.
Okay, where's my extra? I need a new tab. All right, so if you guys have not seen this thing, it is wild. Absolutely wild. I think Stranger Than Fiction has had it on a few times. Let's see if I can bring it up through here. Let me see if I can find it on YouTube. How many of you guys have got a YouTube link? Yeah, there we go. It was in December. That's right. All right, so this thing is wild. Check this thing out. Look at that thing. Look at that.
That's scary.
Right?
Yeah, that's scary. It's and the reason I say it's scary is because it's
Looks like a bullet through water, doesn't it? And you see all those little bitty things that are right here in the middle, okay?
Yeah.
Those are all the little devices. This had to be sent immediately because they had updates knowing that North Korea, little Kimmy, was about ready to blow up the world.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't believe. I think Kimmy is used by the globalists and
Oh, absolutely, he is. The poor thing is a Down syndrome child. It's not his fault. It's the military behind him, all his sick uncles and everything. Well, people are literally eating dirt to try and stay alive. But is that not the weirdest looking thing ever?
No, it is. It is. Hold on, let me see here. Sophie Dave, I already spent too many months on Flat Earth. There, he'd been on enough ones to see different, anyways. Your own.
We'll give Jeremy a little thumbs up.
There are. Well, thank you, Sophie. I'm glad that it doesn't change because it's just a perspective, and although we see it differently, I've been on planes too, and you know, I think I don't know the planes that I've been on. A lot of what I've experienced is the friggin' windows themselves are made in a way to make shit look like that, man. I just say this: where is the curvature that they're speaking of? Where is that curvature? Because I can't find it anywhere on Earth. There's nowhere I can find 8 inches of curvature per square mile. Nowhere. I mean, you can go to the salt flats and you can see for 250 miles straight across the thing with your naked eye. Why can you do that? There should be no reason with the curvature. These things shouldn't be able to exist.
Although Mark flies, so he has seen that curvature.
No,
when you go up like in a
tell me where it is, because they're sending balloons up 300. They're sending balloons up. Look up at the weather balloons they send you. I don't see no curvature there.
I honestly don't know enough.
No, I know. That's why I invite it, because it's the conversation that gets the most people stirred up, because it seems like such a simple thing, and like that person. And I'm not talking about anybody in here, but I experienced flat earthers and globers like hating each other and dogging each other out. And it's just another tool that's used. I don't give a shit if it's flat or if it's not. I just want to protect the children that are in this place, you know? And so what I'll say, even Tesla himself said, this is not an earth, this is a world. And where it is not or what he say is, quote, very, very fucking brilliant quote, but this is a world we live in. You know, and when you start to look at their own sciences, and when their sciences ain't adding up, and you look at what scientists is, I dig science, like melt, do whatever. But I play with logic and reason too. And when I look at the place I live in, I cannot find curvature that they're talking about. When you can see buildings from 150 miles away, 200 miles away, that should be covered up by the curvature of the earth by their numbers. That starts to ding bells for me, and I go, okay, well, let me start to take a look at this. And like I said, I honor everybody's perspective. Anybody that's on here, I honor your perspective, and it's not about flat earth, it's more about the communication. And so can we communicate and talk about this and act like civil human spiritual whatever we are, or are we going to sit here and dog each other out and get off and get mad? You know, the important thing is that we're still here and we're talking about it.
But this is what I love about your creativity. You'll find a topic that people aren't going to agree with you on, and it proves the larger point. We don't have to agree on 100% everything. I've been married for 33 years. You really think my husband and I agree on every single point? It's impossible. You know, even perfectly twinned people that share the same mind and the private twin speaking on, even they don't agree on 100% of everything. How wonderful, how boring would this world be if we agreed on every single point? How drudgerous would this be if we knew everything? I love that we don't have the answers to everything. What we do have the answers to is our common sense, our morality and ethics, and who we are as Americans to say, this shit going on in my yard doesn't happen anymore. Done. We're not putting up with your crap anymore. We see you. We see you. more and more people are going, oh my God, it's not even a Republican and a Democratic thing anymore. No, those parties died. Okay?
Labels all got to die.
Died when Daddy Bush killed JFK. And if you don't know that Daddy Bush killed JFK while he was in the CIA, it's all here on YouTube. You'll find it. There's also a really great documentary on, I want to say Netflix right now. Very much worth the watch. Okay. This government has lied to us and has been social engineering, and Obama was the last big push to get their agenda done. And I feel sorry for him because he was a total puppet. I'm surprised we couldn't see the, like when you make a sock puppet for your kids, I'm surprised we couldn't see somebody's hand, up the back of his shirt, making his mouth move. It was so sad and degraded so many people and have hurt so many people. But he was just a CIA puppet, just like all the last, whether they are a Bush or a Clinton, doesn't matter. They're all the same coin. They just show you two sides when they need your vote every 2 years. It's insane. And we all are starting to wake up and see it. And at first you're angry. First you're in disbelief. When I heard 9/11 was actually perpetrated upon us and there were no airplanes, my mind didn't just go purple, but I was pissed. I was pissed. I'm an Adams. My grandparents taught me my beautiful lineage from John Adams and his beautiful wife Abigail to their son John Quincy, which wasn't as great as his dad. His dad was a little mouthier, a little grumpier, definitely uglier and older. That's where the nose comes from, folks. That's the schnoz, the Adams schnoz. And then I find out that my bloodline is part of the frickin' original 13 families. And my head goes purple again. So literally, whether it's vaccines, chemtrails, the elite, the Illuminati, the 13 original bloodline families, it doesn't even shock me anymore that they are literally sacrificing babies on high Luciferian holidays. I'm not shocked that they're trying to find another way around to live forever. And the transhumanism movement. It all dovetails together. It's frightening. It makes your head just want to keep popping purple dust, and you run out of purple dust, Like, holy moly. I don't know how any of us are getting through it other than thank God we have each other to talk to.
Let's do this.
One another and support one another.
Absolutely. I would like to just do this. For anybody that's out there, I keep talking about it. And I would like just to allow it to be what it is. And let's just take a minute. If you ain't never heard of meditation or sat, let's just take a minute to sit and we'll just do some visualization, and we'll start to see what world do you want to live in? What type of society would you like to live in? Do you want a society that where we're all equals and we're working for the greater of man, or do you want a society that you root on your team, I root on my team, and we continue to be slaves to this thing because you're far greater than what you know. You're far bigger and far more. You're so important to the way that the world is walking into. Because I honestly do believe we all chose to live at this time for a reason. I think we chose to live at this time because we have purposes that may have been stacked up for many lives. I don't know. I don't know if I have past lives. I don't remember none of them, and I know the possibilities of them. So I know that we're all here for great things, and no one's more important than the other. So let's just take a minute, and we'll just sit here and just visualize the world you want to see. I know it's a little bit different, but I think different's what we got to move into. So we'll just take a minute and just take a few breaths and let yourself relax. Keep your eyes open, close your eyes. It doesn't matter. Just as you sit here, as you look into the screen, you might look at me and Pam, and you might see your eyes shut. You guys might be saying something to each other. As you look at us, attempt to not judge and just sit there with yourself. And actually, play with integrity and go, you know what? I will close my eyes for this minute. Commit to it, and then just sort of take on your experience. And when you get done with it, just walk out of it and let it be what it was to you. Meditation's a very challenging thing to get into, so I won't speak all about that. I'm going to start doing a weekly meditation for myself because I need this in my life to be able to, let's say, pick up the diamonds. Or pick up the coal, because life actually makes the diamonds for us, and we're sitting at the conveyor belt and we can't see none of them because we're seeing through all these filters and it all looks like coal, but there's actual diamonds in all of it. And so meditation allows us to pick up the diamonds without even really working. So it's that amazing. So we'll just take the next minute. We'll sit here in silence and just let it be what it is. We'll just take a big, deep breath through our nose, and as we exhale out of our mouth, we'll slowly open our eyes. And just feel what that feels like. You know, it's like it's sitting here rambling all night. It's really your journey, and I call you out to not call you out. I lift you up to everything you can be, and always remember that breath's there for you to become aware of it. You know, you're always breathing, so it's just there so you can become aware of it. And I encourage you all to really look into it. It has no, it has attachments to religions if you want to be attached to stuff like that. But if you look at it, you know, these Luciferians, these people, they are the keepers of the light, and what they're doing is they're holding the light from us. But it's like water in their hands. They can't contain it as long as we continue to walk into what we're supposed to be. And like in order to see that, it takes some deep breaths sometimes. And this world is very data filled. And in order, and then to step back from that, it just allows you to you know, be more yourself. And namaste to everyone out there. My soul to yours. You know, your true self is me, and my true self is you. And I think that you know, if we walk in that, you know, people won't be killing themselves, you know, like they're killing themselves nowadays. Well, I mean, they both ways, but people won't be killing other because there is no other. Other is a creation of this matrix. That's all it is. It's a creation of this matrix that uses everything that it can to keep you thinking that you are separate from everyone else. That's why we're all in our little boxes. We don't want to leave them. You know? We want to get out and do things, but you know, the first step is getting out and doing it on social media, what we've been doing. And for all the new people getting on there, getting out and doing that, like start that process. But when the time comes, follow the thing that's leading you, because there's something in there that will lead you to something much greater than you even know, and much greater than I even know. And then, you know, hopefully, you know, we'll meet there. And you know, for Pamela, I just want to thank you for coming on. You're such a bright light in my life, and it's such a bright light to, you know, everyone that's listening. And I just really want to give you the last word. And I think I'm going to probably jump off here, and it's 12:30. It's 12:33 here in Missouri. And so I'm going to jump off here, and, you know, that's when they say, you know, Masons go to sleep. So, you know, I don't know. I'll see how the Masons do it, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for figuring out how to even have me on tonight. This is cool. We learned something new. I love it when I learn something new. I still feel like a kid, you know, sponge. I need to learn everything as fast as I can. Like I can't research enough. I can't study enough. I can't do enough. Anybody who would like to know the bone structure that got someone like Dave even involved in the SOC, there is room for everyone as a standalone. Take something that you find passionate. We have something very affectionately, and I've been told it may not be renamed, the very long email. Go to Save Our Children. It's actually all spelled out lower. The S, the O, and the C are uppercase. It's here on YouTube. The full Lauren Tomchin is on there. Go ahead and tell me, hey, send me the very long email, and send me an email that you feel safe putting out. Or I would advise anybody, even in the future, who's going to watch this, go ahead and separate out a private and make yourself a new email. I love the Warrior to the Bone, SOC Warrior, I Am Unique, whatever it is you want to come up with. Let it be you. Let it be individual. I am happy to send you anything I've got. I am happy to support you in whatever issue or problem, or problems plural, you want to hit. SOC is a big tent, and there is room for every single abuse that's going on in this world to be tackled under that tent. We are not a standalone. We love hooking up with everybody else and upholding everyone else and supporting them. So I don't care if you're in Canada, I've
We
heard
have
from
a lot of Canadians. We have a lot of Canadians, brothers and sisters here that have just love you. They're saying, I want to introduce Keck real quick. Keck's he's modding.
Thank you, Keck.
Yeah. And so, but Sophie Daly, Kim, and then Negan's been in here the whole time. You know, thank everyone here for coming in and just sharing. Really, I mean, without you, there's not. It's just me and Pamela sitting here, and we sit here and do this enough. So it's like, hey, we get to throw in a little bit more here and make it. But you know, I really want to thank Pamela and everybody out there. You know, Canada is to me is nothing. It's like you are my sisters. You know, you are my sisters, and people in Russia and people in any friggin' country. If you got a soul, then we are connected. You know, if you have a soul, we're connected. And I just really want to thank Pamela for all she does, and everybody in the room for contributing. And we'll do it again very, very soon. You know, I'm gonna.
And I'll send out the very long email to anybody who wants it. It'll work in Canada, China, Russia. I don't care what country you're in. This works because it's common sense. Okay. And it's not because I was the brightest. It just, a day hit me and I sat down and I wrote this thing out over 4 hours, and it is what every group now is using. The honeybee. My God, what an incredible woman. Liberty columnist, fantastic. Victoris Libertas, amazing. SGT report, Sean over there, amazing. Love Ron Johnson over Stranger Than Fiction News. Gotta love that guy. He comes up with some great stuff. I just watched the one on the energy weapons for the fires that were here in California. My God, mind blowing. So many great warriors. It would take me all night to name them all. But
I'm going to say to the parents, any parents, if you're dealing with something if you're dealing with CPS and you like this does not cost you nothing. Like CPS is built to be a platform for the people that live in this beautiful country we live in, to have people to support them. Like, we're not in all 50 states yet. We're growing because we're growing.
Yeah. You know? And we'll never charge. We're not one of these people where you have to have a membership fee. No, SOC will never charge a client. We will figure out the money later, but SOC will never charge for common sense. And we got to uphold one another as brothers and sisters, because, man, that is a pain. To get to you through your kid has got to be the lowest, sickest form I can think of for an adult to use on another adult. And that's exactly what's going on. And it's our own governments doing it to us. And they know. Don't think that they don't know. They all know. This is all socially engineered. So anybody, if we can help you, I'm here. Dave's here. There's tons of people that are behind us with and outside of SOC that have their own thing. Just speak up, start uniting, join up. If somebody really speaks to your soul, just send them out an email and say, hey, brother, hey, sister, I'm here for you. What can I do to help? And that's going to solve this. And then all we have to do is hold up the children, because literally it's their voices that take this entire sick thing down. And I can't wait.
No, man, they know. Like the children know more than we do. Like it's a matter of now unlearning what we've learned. And so children, they've naturally taken on, I mean, unfortunately, it's not really fortunate or unfortunate, because it could be a gift to that child. It happened to me. It was a gift to me now. It wasn't then, but it happened, and it's a gift now because I can speak to people about it. And so then I can get into the hearts of people that it's happened to, and they feel comfortable sharing to me. And that's a blessing in my life. And so it's, I don't know why I said that. It doesn't matter.
We were talking about the stories these children have to tell.
Oh, yeah.
There's no adult without looking like a complete monster saying, well, you didn't enjoy having psychotropics thrown down your throat at 3 years old. Yeah. You know?
Well, 6 drugs,
if
right?
You want to draw another breath of clean air without the United States going with their pitchfork and torches right to D.C. and taking every last one of them down. These children's stories and voices end this entire system.
Yes.
And that's where we're going, folks. That's where we're going. Love you, brother.
Pamela, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for being here. You guys are all friggin' awesome, and have a rate. Okay. You guys are all awesome, and I love you much, Pamela. We'll talk tomorrow, and you're amazing, and tell your awesome husband. I almost used a curse word. I guess my cursing's been really good for the last hour. I think I really stepped it up. You know.
Yeah. Oh wait, Cake says there's breaking news. What is it, Cake? Let me see if I can pull it up.
Ambergeddon.
What's Ambergeddon? Oh, it's on Twitter. Comey in trouble. Lawyer moves to have him disbarred. It's on conservativetribune.com.
Awesome. Hey, there's more of the deep state filth falling apart right as we speak. Keck, thank you for sending that beautiful information on, and I hope that inspires other people to look into stuff, because there's a lot of stuff going on, and the main thing that's going on right now is we're here to figure out who and what we are, and that is love. And so ultimately, if it's not in love, which love's a bad word here now, it seems like, not here where we are because it's used a lot, but here in this, like love being spoken is like, it used to be like, oh, now it's like, it's like, man, that's what you are. That's what you are, is love. So just walking that love is integrous as possible, and know that there's people that care about you and what you're going through, and all you got to do is reach out. So many thanks to the chat room. Many thanks to you, Pamela. Thank you for all you do. Mark, you, and I know you're somewhere out there. I love you too, brother. And you guys keep holding down California, and we'll hold down Missouri.
Oh, sounds good, brother. Night.
Love you.